Hi, all my Stewartsboro friends. It's so great to have you guys back on this second week of our distance learning. We have some new stories coming to you this week. The one I'm going to read to you right now is titled The Shoemaker and the Elves. And this story was retold by Rosie McCormick, and it was illustrated by Barbara L. Gibson. Do you remember what the illustrator does? That's right. The illustrator draws the pictures. So listening to that title, The Shoemaker and the Elves, and looking at these two pictures, what do you think this book is going to be about? What are your predictions on that? Pause me and talk to someone about it. Okay, well, now that you made your prediction, we've got to read it to find out, right? Here we go. The Shoemaker and the Elves. Once there was a poor shoemaker and his wife. We only have enough leather left to make one pair of shoes, said the worried shoemaker to his wife. What's a pair? A pair of shoes. What does that mean? Turn, talk to your stuffed animal or your grown-up or your sibling. What does the word a pair of shoes mean? A pair means two. You have one pair of shoes. There's two shoes in a pair. Here we go. That night, the shoemaker left the leather on his workbench and went to bed. He decided he would make his last pair of shoes in the morning. When the shoemaker woke up, he was shocked to find a beautiful pair of shoes on his workbench. He puzzled and puzzled over who could have made such beautiful shoes. He went to bed and woke up and the pair of shoes were already made? How do you think that happened? Turn, talk to your grown-up or your stuffed animal. Pause me, turn, talk to him. How do you think that happened? Let's find out. Later that day, a customer came into the workshop and admired the shoes. They fit his feet so perfectly that he paid double the money for them. We now have enough money to buy dinner and to buy leather for 2 more pairs of shoes, the shoemaker said happily. That evening, he cut the leather for 2 pairs of shoes and left it on his workbench. Amazingly, the next morning, there were 4 pairs of new fancy shoes. The shoemaker and his wife sold all 4 and made more money. I must discover who is making these shoes, said the shoemaker to his wife. So they decided to stay awake and watch the workbench all night. Why is it important for them to have the money to make more shoes? Why do you think they need more money to do that? Turn and talk to your grown-up or your stuffed animal. Pause me and talk to him. That's right, because we need money to live, right? We have to have money to buy our food and to live in our homes and put gas in our cars to go places. So they were worried that they didn't have that money. But now all of a sudden, they're selling shoes that they're not making and the money's rolling in. Think they're going to figure out how that's happening? Let's find out. That evening, 2 tiny elves in tattered clothes tiptoed into the workshop. They began to sew the leather into beautiful shoes. Those poor elves must be freezing in their ragged clothes, said the wife to the shoemaker. So they decided to sew new clothes and shoes for the poor little elves. That evening, they left the gifts on the workbench for the elves to find. When the elves returned, they discovered the beautiful clothes and shoes. They were so happy with their new clothes that they danced out of the workshop and were never seen again. From that day forward, the shoemaker and his wife lived a happy life with plenty to eat. And that was our story of the shoemaker and the elves. At the end, the shoemaker and his wife made clothes for the elves to wear. It was a very good deed of them, wasn't it? Can you think of a time that you've done something to help somebody else? Turn talk to your grown-up or your stuffed animal about that. Great. I love that you guys are out there doing good deeds of your own. That's how we spread joy in our world and help each other out. So my challenge to you today, because you knew a writing challenge was coming, I want you to think about the setting of this story. Now, we talked about the setting is where the story happens. Looking at the pictures, we can see that the setting happened in their shoe shop, in their workshop. Today, I have a challenge for you. I want you to pick a different setting. Okay. Now, parents, they can pick any setting they want. They could pick Disney World, the beach, Walmart, Target, the car, your home. But friends, I want you to change the setting in this story and then think about what might have happened if they were in a different setting. You can draw a picture to show this and then just tell your grown-up with your words what would happen. Or you can draw that picture and write a sentence or two telling us the new setting and what would happen in that new setting with the shoemaker and the elves. So grown-ups, this may look like they choose the beach and they say, well, the shoemaker and his elves were at the beach, and because they were at the beach, instead of making shoes, the elves only made sandals. Or if they were at Disney World, they could say the new setting was Disney World, and because they were there, the elves only made shoes that looked like Mickey Mouse's. So they can be as silly as they want to or as real as they want to, totally your choice. But just challenge them in their writing. Remember, not worried about correct spelling. Really just focusing on getting those beginning sounds in the words, as well as every sentence beginning with an uppercase letter, every sentence ending with some kind of punctuation mark, exclamation mark, period, anything that they feel that they choose. So we can't wait to see your writing that you send us, and have a great time with this, friends.